this iconic brand, the godfather of SUVs, is coming back. If you go specifically to Blythewood, South Carolina, outside of Columbia, 4,000 jobs. And these are not going to be gig, I have no benefits types of jobs. High paying, good training, real medical benefits, daycare, the whole thing. Look, I think we've got to get back to the obligations of the past where people can have real jobs and get paid real salaries. So it's going to have a big, big impact on Blythewood. Plus, 21st century jobs, right? They're really going to get the training and get things that needed to have a competitive future, which is great.
As I said, the trucks look awesome, and I've already driven some EV trucks. I haven't driven the Cybertruck, but I spent some time in the GMC Hummer, and I'm really impressed with obviously the torque of an electric powertrain. But we have had a little bit of a backlash lately in terms of EVs. Do you think that lets up and they become more popular by the time we hit 2027?
Yeah, man, I think there's two things. One, the direct answer is yes. I think this is the right technology. Obviously, there's a little bit of chatter and noise. Nothing's linear in life. But I think the second thing, if you saw our announcement, we've got two drivetrains. One is all electric, 350 miles. The second one, super slick. We basically put a gas-powered range extender on the rear axle, over 500 miles of range. So now you're going to get a full battery car with a range extender. So we think we've got both options covered. Why we love it, keeps the platform flexibility, so we love it on engineering. More importantly, manufacturing flexibility. The plant can make either give and go, super flexible. So we think it's a great solution for America and great solution for Scout.
Scott, this seems like it's an interesting strategy, pivot, addition, I don't know how you would describe it, but how much of this is a hedge on consumer... Complement, there you go. How much of it is a hedge on how consumers might behave moving forward? Matt and I were kind of outlining a lot of the hurdles people have faced when it came to charging.
Yeah. Look, that's a fair question, and no one has a crystal ball. I think if you look at what some of the states are saying, right, 50% of the car market is basically saying legislation, 2035, you have no gas, period. So that's one end. The other one is, of course, we have to see how the consumer reacts. I think the best way to get the consumer to adapt is get them to trust and get them to love. And we think the extender is a perfect option to do that. It gives you everything you like about an electric car, right? It's got massive torque, massive fun to drive, over-the-air updates, a frunk, the packaging. Yet, when you need to go extended, you've got the gas. So we think it's a good complement. And again, what you want in the factory is to be able to push and pull depending on demand. So we've got a drivetrain that can go to 2050 in theory, depending on how America adopts. So some markets, as you know, are profoundly electrified, California, et cetera, and some are not. Scout wants to go to all 50 states. That's why we have this solution. So I think it's the right balance.
Can I ask, I mean, I'm excited about the hybrid powertrain. I've always thought it's the way forward. But I want to ask about pricing. I bought a Ford Raptor back in 2014. It was $58,000. When I moved back to the U.S. in 2022, they were $85,000. Obviously, prices have really climbed. What kind of pricing are you looking at in terms of these two models behind you? And what kind of scale do you expect in terms of sales in year one?
Yeah. Well, look, Matt, you asked the exact right question. So these vehicles behind me will be retail under $60,000 with incentives $50,000. So to get 1,000 pound-feet of torque, this kind of capable machine at that price point is phenomenal. The reason we're able to do that is you've got to be maniacal about material cost on the vehicle. We've done a good job about being maniacal on material cost. We've done a good job of bundling with the group in order to get costs down. Of course, the other thing we can do with a startup is you can really manage legacy costs. We don't have any. And of course, keep overheads down. So we've been really phenomenal about tracking that stuff. The plant is capable of making 200,000 cars. We don't need to get there overnight. We're going to ramp up accordingly, but we can make good profitability at less than that ramp up scale. So again, cost. And I think we've got the business model actually to do it. We've got good backing. And of course, we've got a clean sheet, no legacy cost, all of that, which is nice.
Scott, you know, you were talking about jobs, real wages, good paying jobs, good benefits here. Matt and I talk a lot on the show about the power of labor in this country and the increasing roles of unions and other organized labor. At the end of the day, where do you see the direction of travel going when it comes to worker needs and demands in different states?
Look, to me, I have no comment on unions. To me, it's always been quite clear in all of my manufacturing experience, and it comes down to two things. Compensate people fairly, treat them with respect. And in manufacturing, treat them with respect means looking out for their time. You see, again and again, come in Friday night, come in on Saturday, unscheduled shifts, on and on. If you can manage the shifts with respect, pay people fairly, we will do both of those things. The rest of the union issues takes care of itself. Labor issues takes care of itself. But at the end of the day, the employee, the worker, decides what they want to pursue. It's my job to pay them well and treat them with respect. That's what we as Scout Motors will do. I think, look, as I said, we have this philosophy. I think we do need to go back in time a little bit where you can make a fair wage, you can retire fairly, you can take a vacation, and not be in this ceaseless gig economy where you have $10 in the bank. It doesn't work. And as you said, employees are strategic. They're critical. They're part of our community. We're going to treat them right.